that was an awesome experience to just be like, hello, Harry. Like, yeah. And I had to walk over and I had to introduce myself. And that specific project, we only had 22 minutes. So that's a high pressure situation to do what we needed to do. I was basically delivering sentences to him to repeat back. So I'm reading them to him and I can feel my voice going on and all that.
We're back with episode 14 of the Unstoppable podcast. I'm incredibly excited to have my good friend Paul Kennedy, co-founder of Lifelike Media, here today. And we're in this studio. It's absolutely epic. Really cool to be here. This is my first time here.
Yeah, it's nice. Thanks for having me on.
Great spot. And there's loads of football shirts layered around the office. We've got a Man City shirt, Phil Foden signed. We've got a Harry Kane shirt. We've got an Ulster rugby shirt. It's a pretty cool place, and I'm sure you've got some pretty cool stories to share. So for those of you that don't know, or those listening that don't know who you are, tell us a little bit about you, your journey, and what you do.
Yeah, so Paul Kennedy, I co-founded Lifelike Media, which is a creative agency, with my brother about 5 years ago. And over the last 5 years, it's kind of developed into what it is today. But like everything, it didn't exactly start this way. We sort of pivoted here and there, which we can get into, but yeah, like the real high level, super quick background for me was kind of left school in sixth year, at the end of sixth year, did my A-levels with no intention of going to university. As most schools do, they kind of forced us down that road, but I knew that I wanted to travel. So left uni and essentially started traveling, went to Canada, became a ski instructor actually, because I wanted to ski, but couldn't afford to ski. So how do you ski when you got no money? You get paid to do it. So became a ski instructor. Did that, incredible experience, kind of set the first domino off, which then sent me to Magaluf for a summer season. Nice. And then Australia for a year, and then I did Asia for another half a year, and I just kept bouncing around, coming home now and then, but I was basically in my travel era as a young 20-year-old, and that experience taught me a lot. It helped me figure out, who I was as a guy, a young man. I got a lot of experience, made a lot of connections, and I also figured out that I was good at sales. So as I was traveling around, I was picking up sales jobs, and I was selling things from solar to fruit and veg to charity raffle tickets, which anyone's been to Australia might have had that job, worst job ever. I was selling like 100% commission only, no base. So if I wasn't making sales, I wasn't, eating. Wow. And there's been, stories of us sleeping in a car for 3 days as we're waiting for a commission check to land. And it's been, that hardens you. That shows you what you're made of, and it's a really good experience when you're young. So did all that, came back, started doing nightlife events, actually. So set up a quick company called Elephant Events, and we ran parties here in Belfast for uni students and school leavers. That was good fun, did it for a year, didn't love the nightlife industry. I was kind of growing out of it. But the sort of catalyst of what helped us grow that business was the content, the videos. So after every party, I was making videos for Snapchat, videos for Facebook of the party, and that helped us sell the tickets for the next event. So from those videos, the venues, we were like, can you do videos for our venue? Because you filled a Tuesday night. Tuesday nights are normally dead. You've managed to fill it. How'd you do that? I was like, yeah, we just made a class promo video. So started selling videos. And then...
Those are videos for clubs?
Videos for bars, restaurants, clubs, yeah. In the hospitality industry. Slinging videos for like 300 quid. And we're putting all our time and energy into making these videos like really, really good. But it was just me at the time, really. And then I realized that the problem was the distribution. They weren't really posting them correctly on social. They would post it once and never again, and no one would really see it. Whereas I used to blast mine out every day and cut it up and put it into different formats. So that's when I realized I needed to help these businesses with the distribution, and that's when I started getting more into marketing. I got into like boosting posts originally, and then figured out paid ads. So that's what got us into the point where we're going to launch an agency. So that is a super quick background, loads of direction there, but yeah, that's who that was our humble beginnings and how we then started Life Like Media back in 2019.
Yeah, and it's an unbelievable journey, and you don't realize the journey someone's been on until you kind of dive into it. And obviously we've been good friends for a while now, and some of that stuff I didn't actually know. So it's nice to actually hear that, and it's cool to see that journey. And I think a lot of people listening to this will take inspiration from that journey, because for those that don't know, you've now built a pretty hefty business with a team, and you're impacting a lot of businesses. So tell us more about that, hiring your first team members, bringing the business to where it is today. I can see plenty of seats in this office right now, and you've said you're at capacity. So tell us a little bit more about that and the lessons you've kind of learned from building an agency from just yourself. And I know you and your brother kind of kicked the whole thing off. So yeah, like working with your brother as well, there's a couple of questions in there.
Yeah, I mean, my brother, when he left school, he's 6 years below me. I kind of encouraged him to travel as well because of the positive sort of learnings that I got from doing it. And he was in China at the time when I was kind of kicking off the social media thing. And I actually really remember this one pivotal moment. I was out for a walk and I voice noted him and I was like, Jack, you need to come back because I'm onto something here. I don't exactly know what it is, but I'm selling social media services. I'm selling like paid ads and I'm selling videos, and you should come back and do this with me. So he did. He came back just before COVID. So, and then we kicked it off together, where I would be like the sales guy, going out with my network in Belfast and closing some deals, and then Jack would be fulfilling them on like that paid ad side. And then we actually hired Jack Hanna, who you also know, as our very first employee pretty early on, and he was doing the video. So everyone had their little role, and that's when I realized I was like, we can actually do something serious here, because I feel like I'm good at sales. I've had that background and I've had enough small wins to have confidence in myself. And now that I've seen Jack Hanna's ability to make amazing videos, we can truly deliver. Like, he was much better than I ever was. So I can say we're going to be great, and then we can be great. And then Jack Kennedy, who's also a marketer like myself, was able to pull this whole thing together and make sure that we were getting results. So we were that little trifecta. And so Jack Hanna was our first employee. 2 Jacks. It got a little bit confusing, but Jack Hanna was great coming in, and that's when we started to think like, this is something we should develop and build out. And then there's a few questions.
No, it was just kind of like, obviously the growth of that team, and that point you shared as well is interesting, because you actually brought your brother essentially home from his travels. There must have been a little bit of fear involved with that, no?
Well, the reality was I was confident that we were able to do something. You're going to have to come back at some time. You may as well come back now and give us a hand. But once he came back and we kicked off the business, we actually went skiing. And then we were the last off the mountain before COVID in March. So when we came back, we were a wee bit like not too sure what everyone not too sure what's happening. And we lost all of our clients immediately. So we might have had like 5-6 clients, lost them all because they didn't want to spend money, because they didn't know what was happening. And actually for a 2-week period, Jack had to go and get a part-time job at Finnebrogues in a sausage factory. So he's working in a sausage factory, coming home every day with a big sack of sausages. And I was still trying to figure out what to do. So I was like active on Facebook, doing little videos, being like, here's why you need to be on social. And trying to round up a few clients. And within 2 weeks, we had clients back. I think everyone realized, oh shit, we need to be on social now because everything's closed. Yeah. And e-com started to blow up, and we made the pivot into then e-com. And that's when Jack Kennedy's really good at e-com marketing, because we both studied that. Study loosely, YouTube University and our network. So that's when we pivoted into e-com and started doing paid ads for e-com, and that's what really started to blow the business up, because we were able to get results and then use the results to bring more people into our ecosystem and to grow.
Yeah, it's crazy, and the e-com world's became massive, and I think there's a lot of false gurus that you would see in social media. The general consumer would kind of not understand e-com, and they would also find themselves following people that drive fancy cars and portray this crazy lifestyle. But you know, what's your opinion on that, and how would you know that you can take advice from someone in that space? You know, what would you look for if someone was thinking about, or maybe they run an e-com business or whatever, you know, and they're maybe following these guys and they're posting crazy numbers? What advice would you give to that person?
Well, you and me both know that it's a pickup truck is what you want, right?
Absolutely.
So don't be following anyone who's driving a Lambo. But if they're driving a pickup truck, then
the trucks are the way forward.
that's what I'd be listening to.
That's a metric of success right there. The big trucks.
That's when you got your head screwed on. You got a pickup truck. I would say, like, obviously take everything with a pinch of salt, especially with the internet is wild. It's sort of unregulated in a way, you know. It's not like there's some policeman knocking on your door if you post fake numbers, so people do that. I would look for the operators who's actually operating in the space rather than just telling you what they're doing. You know, we've been operating in this space for 5 years and we still don't have a course. I'm 31 years old. I have enough boxes ticked where I could launch a full-scale course, but I'm trying to build an agency and a few brands, so I'm not trying to do a course. So always find out what's their agenda behind creating this course for you. Like, have they operated before and they now have a full systemized business where they've got all this time back and they're just giving back their time to teach? Or is their business not really working and they need to pull a different string to get more revenue, and that's why they're not creating a course? So you gotta peel back the layers, because they may well have a Lambo that they rented, or they may have a Lambo that they bought, or whatever. Like, I know the Lambo is always everyone talks about that because it has happened many times where younger ecom guys rent a Lambo, use the photos, the Lambo,
Absolutely.
the watches, to then sell the course. But most of the revenue's coming from the course sales, you know. It is like that.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and it's a very valid point as well whenever you consider that someone might be selling a course for the wrong reasons and maybe things aren't necessarily going well in their own business. They're looking for the next step to try and progress themselves and move forward. And I think that's the thing with business. It's such a journey, and you have to be kind of aware of who the legit people are and who's going to paint this false picture as to what they're actually doing. And it always is kind of, it always shines through when you follow someone and you follow them with intent and you actually look at their stuff a little bit more. And for you, obviously you guys have built an incredible business, and back to the business front and the team front, you know, what's the time frame between hiring the first person to hiring however many you have now? Like, what has that time frame been, and what do you think has accelerated that for the business?
The time frame's been, well, we're 5 years in, but it started just me and Jack, and then me, Jack, and Jack for a while. And I think in the last 2 years, because we've been here 2 years, August gone, so nearly 2.5 years. And when we entered, there was 5 of us. And in 2 years, we're now at 20. And I've sent out 5 offers for new employees that have all accepted. So in January, we'll be signing these contracts and bringing 5 more in. But like I told you when you arrived here today, you're like, plenty of space. And I was like, nah, there's no more space. There's no more desk space. So we're cooking a few plans to expand. But it's exponential growth. It's the snowball effect. When you do a lot of great work and your work is actually having a positive impact, 2 things happen. Number 1, you retain your clients. So you're at capacity with your retention. And then your name is getting passed off in the industry. You're getting passed off between brand owners who have friends in their network. And we're getting our name passed off in the ad agency world, where ad agencies want to bring us into their operation because we're producing the creative that the ad agencies would then use to scale a brand. So brands are telling their friends, ad agencies are bringing us in. So we have two sources there of new business. Plus we're retaining the clients we work with. Plus we have our own, we're good marketers ourselves. And we're not even pushing our foot down on the accelerator on the marketing side. We're doing a little bit here and there, but 20 people, I'm the only one on the marketing team. 18 others are fulfillment. Yeah. And then I have a sales guy that helps me close deals. So that's how it's weighted, you know?
Yeah.
If you've got 90% of your team are in fulfillment and only 10% are in actual marketing, then you've probably got a good business.
Yeah. And it's mental that you can grow so quickly when you're doing a great job. And a lot of people, you know, will look at a business of this size and think, I would love to have that. And outside of the logistical business stuff that we've spoken about, I'm sure there's been challenges along the way. can you share some of those? Are you open to sharing them? I know there's
Absolutely.
one on my mind that potentially happened that I'm not sure if you're willing to share.
I mean, there's been so many that I don't even know what that one is, but that's the thing I'm saying there. Last paragraph, I just went, if your business is doing well, you're going to get more business. But at the same time, we fail a lot. We fail almost every day. Like today, we're meant to be off for Christmas, and I'm looking at the Slack, and we're seeing these clients asking for changes on their creative because of little mistakes that we've made. So these small little mistakes from our side are costing us time and now a little bit of stress because we're trying to get things tied off before Christmas. A big mistake we made was coming into Black Friday, till end of the summer. We had projected what was going to happen, and we hired 3 new people to come and help the team. We underhired, even though we thought we were overhiring. We underhired 3 people, and we got absolutely smoked through Black Friday. And credit to my team because we all pulled together and we made it happen. But it was not easy. Blood, sweat, and literal tears. It was tough to get all the clients that we had through that system to the same quality that we'd expect. And navigating problems that you don't have control of, and then things that you might have slipped up on. So many micro things, but then being able to come together after and be like, do you know what, we did it. Everyone was helping each other out. We actually did a diary room, believe it or not. In there, we did a diary room where I set the camera up and there's a page of leading questions, and everyone just went in and vented in the diary room. And I was watching the clips back the other day, and they're so funny. And you're just remembering some of these, what now seem like trivial problems, but at the time you're really pulling your hair out, and it is stressful. And you're here 9 to 5, but then you're actually 6, 7, 8 sometimes, to get this work done. And now tomorrow we're going to let loose on our Christmas party. But
nice.
Out of interest, what was it? What challenge were you thinking about?
I was thinking about maybe it was pre-business, but the car thing, whenever you got injured. Was that pre-business?
That was I was on my entrepreneurial journey, put it that way. That was before Life Like Media. I haven't really talked about that much. I don't usually, but you probably got everyone on a hook now, suspended. So
you have to share it now.
I'll share it now. Quick story again, really quick, is after I came back from traveling, I was working for a company called Yik Yak, which is, if anyone remembers, it was a pretty degenerate Twitter where you were anonymous. So lots of mad stuff was going on that platform. And I was working there, and I was away on tour. And then I came back and I was picking up a little bit of work doing extras NI, just being a player in a scene, like an NPC.
Nice.
And essentially what happened was we had a set on Boucher Road, and a car lost control and crashed through the set. So I was hit with a few others, and I'm not getting into too many of the details, a bit gory, but fucked a few of us up pretty bad.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I think that's the thing, whenever people see you and where you're at today, where the business is at today, I think some of our biggest hardships actually lead to our biggest breakthroughs and lead to the biggest lessons and lead to the things that actually shape us into who we are, because obviously that was an incredibly tough time, an incredibly tough thing to recover from, but it nearly gets you to the point where if you can come back from something like that, you can come back from anything. And I think it's having that resilience to be able to show up and do the necessary stuff, and now your business is where it's at today, not just because of that one moment, but there's going to be moments along the way that actually lead to you overcoming that challenge and then being in a better position to then build and grow from there. And that's why I like talking about challenges on this podcast, because people see businesses like this, uber successful, incredible business, impacting incredible brands, and we haven't even touched upon that yet, but we will. And people just think it happened overnight and it happened through no challenge and it was just plain sailing all the time. But it's nice for someone like you to be honest and vulnerable about the fact that it's not always perfect. There's just challenges that come up along the way, and sometimes you can drop the ball in a certain area of your life, whether it's not even business related. And that's what a lot of this podcast is about. It's about kind of running a business, performing at your highest level in every element of your life, but also when you're trying to do that and do it all and be it all and have it all in every area, you can't drop the ball. And that's so interesting, hearing things like that from someone like you. So speaking of brands, we've got one here, but you've worked with some big brands. I'm going to give this a taste test. This is the Orange Sunrise. Have you had it?
Yeah, we buy it in bulk because we smash it here in the office. But by the way, that's not us. For the record, that's not our client.
Not a client, but equally we're just looking at this drink. Feel your focus. I have had it a couple of times, but I haven't had this one.
Taste test. Let's go.
Here we go. The orange sunrise tastes like a bit of a cocktail.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so they're saying they're marketing this. This isn't one of Paul's clients, but they're marketing this as a drink that improves your focus and can rival with the likes of Monster and things like that, but have some different benefits.
Yeah, cognitive performance enhancers.
Yeah. What's your experience with these types of things?
So before this podcast, I was showing you all of them, like shilajit, all the mushrooms. Like we take that stuff every day, mainly because it's our clients are in that space, like mushroom coffees, and all the different like mushroom gummies and things like that. So I take them because they're here, but I like it.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I can stick my headphones in, do a work block, have a coffee, some shilajit, mushroom gummy, smash that into me, I'll just do like 90-minute work block, and it's super productive.
That's the thing as well. Like people forget that if you lock in for a shorter period of time, you could get more done in 90 minutes 100%. Or 2 hours than you could all day. And I think that's the thing, if you can get really locked in, because I'm sure there's times where you feel that you're being unproductive and it's about just getting locked in. And sometimes you can almost solve that period of or a lack of productivity with a period of 2 to 4 hours, 2 good blocks, and then you can be like, right, well, I've actually achieved so much, and I've achieved what most people would achieve in a week in 2 hours.
That's so undervalued, that point you just made, like, and it took me too long to realize that, because I was trying to cram from first thing in the morning to the end of the night. I was just like, how much work can I get in? But it's nothing work. It's like I find myself getting distracted because I'm almost overworking, but the output is way worse. And then whenever I switch to like work blocks, the output is, astronomical. And you're right, just get a few key things down and those key things that are written down are going to be your big work block tasks. And then all that other time, you can go through your to-dos, answer your emails, react. Like I call it reactive work and proactive work. But if you have set aside times in your day where you're not going to be opening your emails or your Slack or client asking for something and you're like reacting to it, that's what's going to move you ahead. For example, my week has just been, my goal is find more talented individuals, interview them, and offer them a contract if they're great. So that's what I've been doing for weeks now. And that's how I've been able to get, 5 contracts or 5 offers out to really good people. But that task is so daunting to me as someone who hates hiring. But, a few lock-in work blocks, and whatever your task is, you'll be able to get it done.
This is the thing, and the new tonic's making me burp, but the fizz is coming through. But I think that's a lot of what business owners, high performers struggle with. Like obviously there's a time management element to things, but also sometimes it's not the time management that's the problem. It's the lack of productivity across the week to the point that they've actually got nothing done. And I think sometimes you can put off the tasks that you've maybe been procrastinating over for a while because it's a big task. But equally, when you set that as the intention, you're intentional every single day, you lock in on what you're doing, but also you don't expect to lock in for 8 hours straight. That's not necessarily possible. And so many people use busy as a badge of honor. They want to tell everyone how busy they are, but if you were locked in more regularly, you improved your focus. This is obviously why this is a great marketing campaign, because focus, if you improved your focus, every element of your life gets better. Your focus improves, then your relationships get better. You get in better shape because you're more focused on that. You get healthier, you get fitter, you get happier, you get more done in your business, you make more money, all because you've been more focused. And I think that's why this, for example, as a brand will do well. But back to your business and the brands that you guys have worked with, they're littered around this room. How does that come about? How do you go from working at the random nightclub party to working with Tyson Fury?
Yeah, well, 2 things really. It's time in the game. It doesn't just happen overnight, right? So we have been progressing our offer and our quality over time, and there's lots of different that I would say like A-level projects, like lots of different brand ambassador projects with the athletes that you see around the room, and they all came from different reasons, different connections, but the common denominator is we were doing good work And then we had our name passed off in the industry. That's essentially it. Like, you're not getting Floyd Mayweather from a Facebook ad, you know. And you're not
scrolling on Facebook.
You're not going to a BNI meeting and getting Tyson Fury's contact details. That's just come from who are the guys in the industry that are doing ad creative for social. And they're at, you know, we're talking 2 years ago, we started the Tyson Fury contract, and that we got that specific one because he was launching a product, which is the Ferocity product behind us there. And we had, which is essentially what that is, right? Big name influencer launches a product.
Yeah.
And we had experience in that world. So we got a connection. I flew over to Manchester. I pitched the guys in Manchester, told them our proposal. We'd also worked with Tommy Fury in the past, so I think that they liked that. We'd worked in the boxing industry. We'd worked with Floyd Mayweather. So that helped us with our proposal. And we probably came in considerably cheaper than everyone else as well, to be honest. So they like that.
100%. And, you know, when you meet people like this, I'm sure it's a cool experience, but you're not necessarily dealing with them directly. That's maybe a misconception of some people, i.e., yes, you're going to be recording that person, but when Tyson Fury starts an energy drink, he's not planning out the growth of this business or how he's going to push it. It's his name, and there's probably other brains behind the whole thing.
Yeah, so it was his brand manager who we were working with directly. The Ferocity brand manager. But yeah,
and then when you meet the people, because I love football, that's the first thing that I seen, Harry Kane's shirt, Phil Foden's shirt, you know. What's it like working with them guys? Does it feel any different than working with the average person?
100%. Like, Harry Kane was the first big footballer, and I remember we were there for like 2-3 hours waiting, and we'd all the cameras set up, and we'd ran through our roles many times, and we were getting nervous and anxious. And then he walks in the room, and he's tall. You don't realise how tall he is, and he's like a athletic specimen.
He's a big lad.
And you're just like, and his energy is just like, he was captain of England, and this was before the World Cup. And you know, he's the most famous guy in the world at that point in time, and they're like, oh, holy shit, there he is. Like, he's the man.
The fanboy moment.
Yeah, and like, I don't support Tottenham. I support Chelsea, and actually just before that, he'd scored the header against Chelsea to draw 1-1. Like, I was like cursing him out, and then I'm working with him like a month after. But you look at him and you go, this guy's peak athleticism, peak of his career. And he, the guy's got like his ankles insured for millions and millions of dollars. So that was an awesome experience to just be like, hello, Harry. Like, and I had to walk over and I had to introduce myself. And we, that specific project, we only had 22 minutes. So that's a high pressure situation to do what we needed to do.
So you literally get Harry Kane for 22 minutes and he's away?
He had to do interviews.
Yeah.
He had to do some like TV work, and we were doing the social work. So it was all, his day was, his few hours were split into like micro minutes. So we had exactly 22, not 23, not 24. And what happened was then, really quick introduction, how you doing? I had the cameras rolling, GoPros rolling, everything. And then we were getting the shots we needed. And then I was basically delivering sentences to him to repeat back for like, all the hooks for socials. So I'm reading them to him and he's reading them back, and like I could feel my voice going and I'm like, holy shit.
Is that how that works then?
That's how we did it. Because we were trying to get maximum output for a minimum amount of minutes. And in the middle of this, we were doing transitions, like keep you up ease, different transitions with the Stat Sports products, Stat Sports shoot. And he took his vest top off and it was Nike logo. And Nike had not confirmed their contract with him before the World Cup. So the manager stopped us in the middle, his manager, and said, we can't continue because he's wearing Nike, can't record it. And it just completely threw us off. Remember, we've only got 22 minutes. We're halfway through. Yeah. All the shots previous they weren't going to be congruent because...
Different t-shirt.
Exactly. And I just looked at kind of like the Stat Sports manager, and he's like, yeah, just do what he says. So we had to change the t-shirt in the middle of the shoot and then keep going essentially.
Just try and get something similar color or something?
It went from like white to just like nothing. Like
Yeah.
I can't even remember what the t-shirt change was, but like it was a freak out moment, and we just kept rolling anyway. We did lose a few of the transition options that we were going to have, but we still had plenty of content. But you know, those things just happen and throw you off, and you just got to
Yeah, and it's not like us doing this podcast. If something goes wrong, we've got a bit more time. But yeah, it's interesting how you can kind of operate in high pressure situations, also with people that you do kind of get that weird feeling when you meet someone that you look up to, and I suppose your inner child comes out a little bit, doesn't it? And it's like, oh, well, like, hey, there's Harry Kane, like he's a big player, he's a legend, and you know, Lauren laughs at me like I'm the guy that'll still get a selfie with a celeb, and Lauren hates it like but I mean actual celebs, not like a, you know, sort of a relatively well-known person. Like if it's a legit celeb, like Lauren laughs at me. I was in London, and my hero of all time, like my biggest hero ever, is David Beckham, right?
Class.
And never met him, never been anywhere near him. I have met Cristiano Ronaldo, but never met David Beckham. And there's a situation I was in that I was in London with some friends, and Romeo Beckham walked past, and I was like, that's Romeo Beckham, to the people I was with, and they're like, no, it's not. Like it's not, because he was sort of like wearing a hat and all, but I know a Beckham when I see one. And I literally ran back to Romeo Beckham, made a complete boob, because I was like, this is David Beckham's son, my all-time hero, so I'm gonna meet the first Beckham that I've ever met. And I was like to him, well, mate, like, you know, it's good to see you, you know, what are you doing in London? Because at this time I thought he was playing for Inter Miami. He was like, mate, I live here.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, the most awkward Beckham interaction ever. It was like, all right, well, can we still get a selfie? And I got a photo with him, sent it to Lauren. She was just like, you're so cringe, like Romeo Beckham, like. But
editor, throw that up on the screen.
Yeah, we need to see that. But no, like things like that are class. And have you ever met someone that's like kind of is obviously really famous, but they've been like really nice to you, or you've had a really good experience with them?
All of them have been like, you know, the Tyson one is unbelievable. When he first came in, his energy was mad, and he made the shoot, because we could obviously try our best to make it great, but he just came in like bundle energy, and he was, you know, we were in the ring doing all these shots, whatever. It was absolutely class, and the experience was so good that we then got invited to go and shoot with him in Thailand. So we did the whole Thailand tour then a few weeks after. So we literally traveled around Thailand with him, and that's when you start to break the barriers and you get a little bit closer. You're having dinner, you know, we were watching some of the boxing on that tour, like in his villa, and you're just kind of in that little entourage, but you know, you're flying the wall, as in you're not just like being a melter or a fanboy. Mm-hmm. You're just present in the day-to-day, in the mundane, and it's good crack, and there's loads of different things happening because it's like a tour. But my personal favourite interaction was with Phil Foden, and if you've seen the photo on the wall, it's me and Phil had a keep you uppy exchange, which is all on video. But he's just a kid. He is just like he's the so most young, crack. Yeah. He comes in, we're doing the shots. In between every shots, he's putting his coat on because he's cold, and he's got his mug of tea. Yeah. Proper Yorkshire boy, like northern lad. He's got his tea, he's drinking it, and then it's like, okay, let's do the shots. So he puts his tea away. He's like, you know, we're trying to shoot, but he's like doing his keepy uppies, he's doing his heel flicks, and then it's like, okay, let's shoot, and then he'll shoot, and then he's just having the crack with you, you know. He's not like Harry, where it's like you kind of can't be too close to him, you know. Yes, he wasn't allowed to hit the ball too hard, but Phil just did whatever he wanted. And
yeah, because that's what I was thinking about, like what they actually do in the shoot. Have they ever done anything like, wow, that is like why they're a Premier League footballer, like or a
well, he was just walking from point A to point B doing heel keepy uppies with his heel. Class. And I was like, I can't even do like forward keepy uppies.
Yeah, so whenever you were doing keepy uppies with him, like did you play well, or
all right, I'll show you the video after this. All right. And then I put a ball up for him to take it down and control it, and he did, and then he put one up for me, and I had my phone, I was trying to record at the same time, I tried to control it, and I lost it, and it rolled off, and he just goes, good control, and took a piss. I was like,
trampoline touch, fuck.
Exactly, it was.
But yeah, like outside of all the business stuff, and if we peel back the layers a little bit, you know, what's life like for you outside of business? You know, life like it's a bit of branding. What's life like outside of business, work? You know, what's important to you? Because I know you and Rebecca are going traveling soon, and then obviously you've got I think you've got a cat maybe, and Yeah, and then you've obviously you big into your fitness and stuff. So tell us what success looks like in 2025 for Paul Kennedy outside of business.
Definitely travel. Like I said at the start, I spent a lot of time traveling, and as a bit of a digital nomad as well. I did 43 countries, and my goal was 30 countries, but now it's going to be 50. So I want to keep traveling, and that is what success is for me. Like, can I build a business that has a great enough team where I can then walk away for a little bit? Like, I'll still be active, of course. I'll never not be active, but can I go to Bali for 3 months with Rebecca? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Bali, go to Australia for a little bit, come back end of March. And that's success for me, to be able to do that and tick off our bucket list together as a couple is great. Just our 5-year anniversary there this week.
Oh, nice.
So
we Chinese together, I think.
Madame Fu, rice box.
Hard to whack, boy.
Harry Potter, is it?
Yeah.
So that's what success is. Like, we could, that's what I said to her, like, we could do anything, go to any restaurant, do whatever you want, but all we wanted to do was watch Harry Potter and eat a rice box. You know what I mean? And that's success, because we could do that. We don't have to worry about things. We've got our own wee house. We've got our little cat. Yeah, life's good. And we obviously have bigger dreams and bigger goals down the line, but we're just taking it sort of one step at a time. But freedom to be able to make those, okay, what is it that we want to do this year? Like, she laughs. I actually think you did this as well. Like, I put a whiteboard on our mirror one day, and I was like, you sit there, we're going to write out our goals for the year. And I think she texted it to maybe Lauren, and then she's like, Johnny does that to me as well.
Yeah.
Like, let's plan what we're going to do.
But I think that's the thing, and every business owner, every high performer has things that they're doing it all for, and often it involves another person or an animal. And it's nice to be able to have that. And I think it's so important for your ability to just take some downtime. Sometimes I need Lauren there for me to be able to say switch off. And I never really switch off, but it's just having that person there that you like being in their company, and you can spend time together, have fun together. And like you guys did for your anniversary, it was like, you don't need to do anything crazy all the time. Sometimes it's just nice being in each other's company, and also there's always something behind the business owner, the high performer, that's driving them forward to that you can do things for her. And Blue the cat, then.
A cat's easy. Like, you have Bruno, it's Bruno's more of a challenge. Like,
yeah, Bruno's.
Like, to the point is that one of my goals when I was younger was to become a dive instructor. So I love skiing in the winter and diving in the summer. That was going to be my life. So I got to rescue diver level and kind of got into business then. So sidetracked that slightly, but my goal is to get Rebecca open water certified. So that's what I want to do here on this trip.
Nice.
So, small little goal, but it's almost like I want her to be a confident diver so that we can dive some beautiful places in the world as we grow older. But that might not be her goal, but it's my goal for my vision is get you comfortable so then we could do, and then whatever you want to do, I'll do something that you want to do, but this is something that I think we should do together, which I think would be absolutely class, because you can dive, shallow, beautiful waters on vacation, and it's something that's incredible to do. But to be able to do that, you need to be able to take some time away. It's not like it's the cheapest sport either. You have to be able to fund it a little bit, and to answer the question of what success looks like that's it. Little micro goals, little micro challenges that you work towards. And then touching on fitness, I like to have a fitness challenge. So this year I did I kind of sandwiched the year between high rocks. Started the year with high rocks and finished with high rocks. And that's the reason I like those, even though I'll probably not do another one. They're incredibly difficult for me personally, not a runner, is it's like a 12-week focused block. It's basically a quarter of your year, and you just can go from any level, focused work for 12 weeks, and then you have this massive payoff at the end where you get to do this really challenging thing with your friends, and then you get a badge and you get to celebrate and have a Guinness, and it's great crack. And I recommend anyone do something like that, whether it's a high rocks, a marathon, whatever. Just climb some mountain, our friends climbed Kilimanjaro recently, something like that, just throughout your year that you can work towards, where there's a big payoff at the end. And again, a lot of the times, a lot of these things do require some level of freedom, whether it be time to train, some kind of expense, or some kind of travel. So to be able to just do that, set down what I want to do, and then have a life where we can build it where we can then achieve it is pretty much the end goal. And it doesn't matter how much money you have at the end of the day. You can live like a millionaire for considerably less than £1 million,
100%. And this is the thing. And, to touch upon your last point, and a lot of people listen to this will want to perform at their best, get in better shape, get healthier, have a target next year, especially going into the new year. We're in a position where we're considering what our targets are going to be. And I think, yes, it's all well and good. You've had all these business targets over the last 5 years. You've had these things that you wanted to perform with, but also the fundamental thing that keeps you grounded, that keeps you centered, that keeps you performing at your best is those health targets, those health aspirations, and working towards something that has a deadline, that creates urgency, that also excites you, that you challenging yourself to see what you're capable of. Because right now you're challenging yourself to see what you're capable of with your business, but it's nice to challenge yourself to see what you're capable of with your body and your health and your mindset, because that's what those challenges are. Like when you did High Rocks in Dublin, it's a real challenge. It's a tough thing, but equally it's all about, who you become in pursuit of that thing and having that goal that you're working towards. But you're like, hey, well, it's not the actual goal that's the most important thing. It's testing what I'm capable of and the habits and the routines that I'll build along the process. And that's probably, would you say that's been something that's helped you perform at your highest level in business, is thinking about that health pillar of your life?
Yeah, and like fitness has always been huge for me. It's almost like a non-negotiable, and being able to go to the gym. I actually like to train on my own more because I'm always with people, whether like in a working environment or whatever. I like to just get some old school rock music on and just go for it.
Yeah.
And that's an outlet. But then when I have my sauna after, that's where my ideas come, because I've no phone, and both when I'm training and when I'm on my sauna, like I'm not trying to be on my phone. I'm just like being in the moment, being present, and that's when a lot of my ideas come for business. But I don't know what the science is, but there's definitely something. If I go through a period of not wanting to train, like even 3 or 4 days, if I don't train for 3 or 4 days, I'll know about it. I'll feel it. I'll feel all like clogged up or something, or there's like an intense pressure that I need to release. And I don't know if that's like a man thing or like a me thing or like just a human thing, but the training's always been a great outlet for me, both from when I used to play rugby to now, and it'll be like that until pretty much I can't move anymore when I'm an old man. But I think having that as like a constant in your life, every Monday I'm in the gym, and then whatever happens after the week, it might be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it might be a different variation of that, but it's going to be a Monday, probably a Saturday as well.
Yeah.
And those anchors keep me focused on my health goals. It means I'm always in decent shape and I feel good, and then I can perform well, and I'm almost like challenging myself on a micro level in the gym as well.
Yeah, big time. And I suppose most people who have been in a period of their life where they haven't trained or they haven't exercised for a period, they kind of just normalized how they currently feel, and they haven't felt a life with more energy, a life with improved productivity, a life with improved focus, a life with and health is a big part of this too. I always think with our clients, we're always thinking about health first. How can we improve your health markers? How we get them to a better place? Because then you're future proofing for aging and I see those things, because so many people push their business to the point that health hasn't even been a thought because they're so locked in on their business. But I think you can still keep a good base level of health and fitness. Sorry, you definitely can, while still growing an incredibly successful business.
Yeah, and it'll like flywheel into itself. Like the better you feel physically and mentally, the better you're going to perform in your business. But then I also go real primal. Like our ancestors like ran and jumped and fought to like survive, whereas we just wake up out of bed, go and put the kettle on or whatever, and we're just totally insulated from the reality of the like actual life. And we just come into the office and then start typing on a keyboard. Like that, we're not meant to be like that at all. Like we need to like touch earth and run and fight.
You need some hardship as well. Like that's what Lauren always says to me. She's like, Bruno would never survive in the wild. He wouldn't. It's just funny.
Get it out of him.
Obviously, people listening to this, some of them will run businesses, some of them will work within a business, and I think all of this information will still be relevant that we're about to share. We're hopefully going to give some value. Well, I'm not. You're going to give some value on
value bombs
on marketing, branding, personal branding, because it's something that kind of has got my business to where it is today, and it's been a key component of everything that I've done. But I suppose for you as the expert in this space, you know, how important is marketing for a business or an individual?
It's important. I mean, how important is people being aware of you if they want to buy from you? Like, they obviously need to know who you are. They need to know that your offer even exists.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they're not going to buy it because they can't. That's marketing, you know.
And what's an example of, you know, what sort of business needs a personal brand, for example, needs the founder to have a personal brand?
Definitely coaches, consultants, anything like that. You know, professional services who are mainly individuals rather than, you know, big corporations. But again, even my own business, even though we're pushing Lifelike Media as the brand and the team, if you go on our page, you don't see me that much. You see the team behind the scenes, everything we're doing. That wouldn't be a personal brand, but then my own self, I'm known as a marketer in the digital space and well known in e-com and creative. So they go hand in hand. You know, if people know that your company's decent and that you're the one behind it, it's going to help you. You kind of have two-pronged attack there. But I mean, it is important. Let's be honest. If someone is on the market to buy your offer, and there's two people with the exact same offer, they're going to buy from the person that they trust the most. It doesn't matter like if you have like a really fancy profile pic, but if you're not in their, I always say ecosystem a lot, but if they're not in your ecosystem, like they don't see you, they don't think about you, they're not top of mind when they think about your offer or your service, you're probably going to lose out to the person that is. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's probably a lot in there we could break down, but definitely it's obviously important.
Yeah, I think, and it's something like at the start, whenever I first started sharing stuff about me, I felt uncomfortable with it, and it was like this weird friction. But I did it before, you know, because in the last couple of years, probably the last 3, maybe in around COVID or just after, like content creation, personal branding has really blew up. Whenever I first started, I remember sharing videos. The very first video I shared was recorded in my car, and I had bought this camera. I was like, I'm going to shoot this professional video and I'm going to give people 5 steps on how they're going to get abs. And then I spent about 6 hours after editing it. But I remember there was no one interacting with this post because video wasn't really a thing. It was more about written at the time. And then the only person to kind of give me a cheer or some dopamine below the post was my granda. And he was like, look, great video, John. He calls me John. But that was the start of my personal branding journey and sharing more about me, because I think people want to know who I am. They want to hear and see my values and see if they can actually see me as their coach and whether or not they can build a relationship with someone. So that's why it's been important for me to actually share kind of loads of kind of obviously value-based stuff, but also personal-based stuff. Here's what I'm into. Here's what I care about. Here's what I value in my life. And then they can kind of decide upon whether or not they're going to connect with me, because coaching and the journey of coaching it's a lot of it's a relationship building process. But outside of personal branding and ads and paid advertising, you know, it's something that there's risk involved, because obviously when you've got some skin in the game and you're paying some money outside of the organic side of things, you have to track the data, right? So, you know, what metrics should someone track whenever they're running some paid advertising campaigns, or even just one metric that would be good to look at?
Well, the best metric is going to be conversions, right?
Mm-hmm. And
you just work back from conversions. Like, well, let's use your example. You want signups to your program. So you want to know how many signups did you get this month? That's the most important metric.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many people viewed your video. It's how many people signed up and gave you money in the bank. So that's the most important metric, obvious answer. But, you know, you can work back if you're trying to get deep into it. Okay, how many people gave me money to sign up for my project? Okay, before that, how many people give me their information because they were interested? That's your lead. Okay, before that, how many people clicked my video onto my landing page? That's your clicks. Before that, how many people stopped to see my video? That's your hook rate. How many people watched the video? That's your hold rate. See that? So you're reverse engineering every single piece, and then you can fix the bottleneck. So if you have, let's say, an extremely high hook rate, so lots of people have stopped scrolling, this mindless doom scroll that they have every day on your phone, they've stopped and gone, oh, that's interesting. You've got their attention, you've held their attention, so they're watching the video now, this using video as an example. Yeah, that is actually quite an interesting video. That's your hold rate. They've clicked onto your landing page or offer page. That's your click-through rate. And then if they got a good click through it means your offer's probably resonated. Maybe what you've said or what the transformation might be is interesting enough for them to go and learn more. Okay, now I'm on my landing page, giving me more information, either in the form of a video or written sales copy. How many people have then put their information in, name, email, phone number, to get either a consultation call or whatever the lead magnet is that you're given? That's your leads. And then how many people have gone from a lead to then, let's say, a booked call? I think your funnel would maybe be a booked call. That leads to book call rate. So say you got 10 leads and only two of them booked a call. You could probably spruce that up a little bit. And then let's say from the two that, let's say, okay, actually let's go four booked a call, but only one of them, of the four, 3 showed up and 1 didn't. 75% show up rate. From the 3 that have showed up, only 1 person bought. So 33% close rate, which is probably fine. Every single one of those metrics is pretty detailed, but the one that's most important is that one that bought. And you can then look at every single one of those and say, it was all really good until the leads. Really, everyone watched, everyone loved it, everyone clicked, but then people didn't put their information in. Okay, now we need to fix your landing page. Mm-hmm. Your landing page isn't strong enough, your sales copy isn't convincing enough, maybe there's not enough proof. Maybe I don't believe what you told me. Maybe we need to add more case studies in there. And then we fix that. All of a sudden we get loads more leads and loads more book calls. And then, out of like 10, only 1 person closes, 10% close rate. Okay, now we need to fix your sales process. Who's your sales closer? If it's yourself, we can look at all your calls and figure out what it is happening inside that sales call. That's going to move them from someone who's got a pain point to, I need to solve this pain point right now and I'm going to give you money for it. So I was quick off the cuff.
That was good, yeah. You can tell he's an expert, and I get lost at click-through rate, I think. No.
Well, this is why we hire experts, though. This is why you have someone like Paul in your corner who's going to be like, here, Paul. And also for me, like when I think about my business, the people like Paul and Lifelike are important because there's one good thing. There's more than one thing I'm good at in my business, but the thing that I'm best at is coaching. It's helping people. It's, diving through a problem with someone and a challenge and getting them to the other side where the progress and the results are. When it comes to marketing, I'm like, don't love it. Not my most biggest and favorite thing to do in the world, but that's why you need a team or someone or a group of people like Lifelike around you, where you're like, oh well, like those guys can focus on that stuff and then I can focus on the coaching and the stuff that I'm really good at. And I think that's vital and essential. And when you think about organic versus paid, just to cover that, what point is a business ready for paid marketing?
The way I look at it is this: you're going to either pay with time or you're going to pay with money. So you have to decide what's more valuable to you. If you're going to pay with time, that means you're going to sit here like in a set and you're going to pump out organic content, maybe every couple of days, batch create it, or every week batch create it. You're going to do your events that you would do. That's organic marketing as well. It's in events, but it's organic. It's not paid as in like a paid ad. People are going to come to that. You're gonna speak at that. You're gonna pump out a load of content off the back of it. This is all organic. This is all time. Whereas paid, I created maybe one video sitting in that other room, and then 4 hooks here, and they've been running for 3 months. So that one piece of input took me a few hours, but now I'm spending pounds to make sure that ad gets seen across all the people in UK, Ireland, US, Canada, Australia, which is our markets. So you have to decide what's more valuable for yourself, but you would always want to start, if you don't have a lot of money, you should be spending a lot of time, and time's going to be creating the content, writing posts, writing blogs, doing videos, doing podcasts, maybe hand-to-hand combat. I call it hand-to-hand combat. That's like DMing people, sending them information. All that stuff is unautomated and it costs time, whereas the ad stuff is automated and your pounds are the wee workers. Your pounds are out searching for the people and helping them. So that's how I view it. Both are important and both are just for different levels of business.
Yeah, no, I love that, and it's so interesting, and it's a really good frame, and it's a really good summary on what to look for, and also, you know, I've seen some incredible ads that you guys have created in the form of, when I'm not talking about, you know, the copy, all that stuff's great, but I mean, you know, the actual visual, because that's what I see. I'm just a consumer that's watching a video that thinks, oh, that video's really good, I want to buy that product. And, you know, whenever I think about adverts that have stood out to me in the past, and maybe why I've bought into a brand, it's like Under Armour is a good example. Like The Rock wears it, it's really cool, you know, and they never actually say anything. It's just like the visual, and that's why the visual is so important. You know, so The Rock's training, you can see a bead of sweat in his head, you know, all this stuff kind of paints this picture, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go and buy an Under Armour t-shirt because maybe I'll look like The Rock in it, which I know I won't.
I mean, that's good for product, right? But if we're talking about coaches and consultants, and like yourself and maybe your own audience who don't have products but they're trying to sell their service, you need to be jumping on camera and conveying some kind of value message. And proof is the most important thing, like, because we could all just say the same thing, right? But who can prove it?
Yeah,
that's where your case studies are going to come in handy, and having people vouch for you. You know, you're very good at it. You've obviously built a successful business from doing it well. Maybe sometimes you just step back and go, you know what, that actually is, I have ticked a lot of the boxes, I'm doing really well, like the content you put out. But then, yeah, for product, like sometimes it's more aspirational. You know, we do the Built for Athletes backpacks, like we're using a lot of content of athletes. And then it's like 80% athlete, 20% the bag. That happens with a lot of different products. But then with coaches and consultants, it's going to be like, you know, 80% you, or even 50% you, 50% my clients' transformation and their case studies. So, but like all of these things can be diced and chopped up in lots of different micro ways. But I think for the audience, to keep it simple and to take something away from this, is time block some time to create that content, to do the organic stuff. And anything that seems to be doing well, put some money behind it, because it's going to do a job. Like you would almost hire an employee, but cheaper. It's going to do a job, and then you can measure everything. You can take the results, and you can start to finesse where things are a little bit sticky. And yeah, that's what I would think about that.
Mate, I've loved this conversation. It's been really good, and we've dived into a lot of different stuff, and it's went in a lot of different directions. But that always makes for a good episode and an engaging episode. But let's look at next year, and I've maybe touched upon this briefly, but 2025 for Paul Kennedy, Lifelike Media, and everything in between. You know, what does that look like as we close this episode?
Big goals for us is double the size of our team. So we've got 2 pods. We talk about pods, like our teams, and we want to have 4 pods and want them to be at capacity. So we want to do that. Hire some middle management to kind of organize and look after all that. Those are like big goals for us. And then build a new studio. So we're actually looking at building our own studio. Haven't really spoke about it before, but we're
first in the Unstoppable podcast.
Yeah, we're kind of in that process, and you know, we've kind of done everything that we think that we need to do. We're just waiting on some planning feedback, and it's Christmas, so it's going to be slow. But hopefully in the new year we get some good news. Got a plot of land figured all out. Got quite a lot figured out, and got the Pinterest board built. So
nice.
That would be huge if we could make that happen. And other than that, just keep refining our offer, refining our output, just getting better, and maybe, who knows, working with a few more big names. That'll be class.
Unreal. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming on, mate. And if you like this episode, make sure to share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, because that's one thing I never ask in these episodes. As a marketer, you should probably...
Yeah, you got to do an ask. You should follow me as well.
Yeah, so follow Paul on Paul Kennedy's Instagram, on whatever other platforms, Lifelike Media.
We just started a YouTube where all the stories that we didn't even go into, but some we did, like working with Harry Kane, working with Phil, working with Tyson Fury, working with Tommy Fury, Floyd, they're all on YouTube. Yeah. So you can go watch them.
Epic. No, 100%. Check it out. Subscribe to them all. Subscribe to them all when you can. And it's a pleasure. Thanks, Paul. Top man.
Thanks for having me on. Cheers.